You are listening to Radio Romania International. Focus on Romania. Traveler's Guide. Welcome, we are Vlad Palcu
and Diana Vijeu.
Romania's capital Bucharest has more than 2.4 million inhabitants and is the sixth largest city in the European Union. Bucharest is on the foreign tourists' list of favorite destinations in Romania alongside the Black Sea coast, the Danube Delta, Bukovina and Maramureș. In spite of the fact that it is located in a plain area, its terrain is not totally flat. Elevation, however, does not exceed 100 meters. Adriana Nica, an executive director with a tourism training company, is our guide through the city of Bucharest. We start our journey from the Victory Boulevard, the city's most important road and one of its main attractions.
Este una dintre cele mai importante artere ale Bucureștiului.
This is one of the most important boulevards in Bucharest. It boasts many tourist, historical, cultural and spiritual points of attraction. But before we talk about them, we should know where the boulevard's name comes from and why this is such an important road. Until 1692, Bucharest had two roads. The Brașov Road, which started from today's Victory Boulevard, going down to the Palace of the National Military Circle, and Ulița Mare, the large street, towards Sărindari, stretching from Sărindari Church to the Nations Square. The Palace of the National Military Circle was built on the site of the old Sărindari Church. In 1692, ruler Constantin Brâncoveanu united the two roads into a single one, named Podul Mogoșoaiei, the Mogoșoaia wood-paved road. On October 8, 1878, the Romanian army made its triumphal entry into Bucharest, marching victoriously along Mogoșoaia Road. In order to mark this victory and serve as a reminder for the coming generations on how the country's independence was won, this major street was named the Victory Road. The Victory Road practically marks Romania's winning its independence in the 1877-1878 war.
According to Adriana Nica, not only is Victory Road a major thoroughfare, but it is guarded by many historical sites and important buildings.
Am selectat cele mai importante obiective, pornind chiar din Piața Victoriei.
We have made a selection of the most important attractions in the city. The first stopover we recommend is the National George Enescu Museum, housed by the Cantacuzino Palace. The building is a genuine architectural gem, built around 1903 by Gheorghe Grigore Cantacuzino. The Romanian composer George Enescu lived for a while in the Cantacuzino Palace, and after his death in 1956, the building was turned into a museum dedicated to the composer's life and work.
The next important site on Victory Road is the Romanian Atheneum. Here is Adriana Nica again.
A fost inaugurat în 1889. A fost construit la inițiativa
The Atheneum was inaugurated back in 1889 and was built with money obtained from a public fundraising campaign entitled Give 1 leu for the Atheneum, the leu being the country's national currency. It took several years to raise all the money, and the building became the reason why Bucharest was called the Little Paris. It was built in the neoclassical style, but it also has eclectic elements and elements belonging to the 19th century French architecture.
Opposite the Atheneum building lies the Royal Palace. Over 300 years ago, in 1659, when the capital of Wallachia was moved from Târgoviște to Bucharest, you could find in that emplacement the far end of Mogoșoaia Bridge with the buildings at the edge of town, a house and Crețulescu Monastery. Adriana Nica, the executive director of a tourism training agency, told us.
Această casă, care mai târziu avea să devină Palatul Regal, a trecut...
This house, which later was turned into the Royal Palace, changed ownership several times, being owned by several wealthy clerics, and later in 1833 it was sold to administrative council. They decided to turn it into the prince's residence, and the palace underwent improvements made by several architects, among them the famous Xavier Villacros. During the rule of Alexandrian Cuza in 1860, the palace had its interior improved with decorative art in Napoleon III style. Under the rule of Carol I, the princely palace was turned into the royal palace. Even if the interior was not exactly impressive, Carol I managed to make it elegant and refined. Putting in statues and paintings, the palace was further adorned by a valuable international painting collection with Renaissance and Baroque pieces. Today, the collection is in the Royal Palace and Romania's National Art Museum. King Ferdinand I ordered modifications to the palace, which were completed by Carol II in 1940, when Romania was at war. Carol II's favorite architect was Arthur Lawrence, who was the chief architect of the court. After King Michael I's forced abdication, the communists turned the palace into a national art museum.
The Savings Bank Palace, also on Victory Road, is another impressive building. Speaking about that, here is Adriana Nica again.
Palatul Casei de Depuneri, Consemnațiuni și Economie este încă un
The Savings Bank Palace is still an architectural icon of the Little Paris and was inaugurated in 1900. It was built in the French neo-Baroque style with tripartite facades meant to highlight its shape on the Victory Road. The top of the building is a dome made of massive glass and metal. The building's resistance is rendered by its entrance crowned by a semicircle gable supported by composite-style columns. Other Renaissance-style buildings cover 4 volumes of corner, in turn decorated with gables and coats of arms. Exceptional fixtures of the facades and the balance of volumes have stood the test of time. So none of the tremors that have shaken Bucharest have damaged the structure of the building. On the premises in the palace, there is also a museum, inaugurated in September 2005.
Across the street from the Savings Bank building stands the Post Office Palace, which was also inaugurated in 1900. The neoclassical building also has an inner courtyard, while the outer aspect of the building was inspired from the Post Office Palace in Geneva. That was Traveller's Guide.